Hi, welcome to Todd's Tips. I'm Todd Barsness, a full-time voiceover talent, and Todd's Tips is a feature of VO Marketing Pro. Now, if you'd like more information about VO Marketing Pro or anything else related to voiceover, just visit our Facebook page, website, or contact us via email. The links are located here. Here's a fourth VO mindset. Get knocked down and get back up mindset. In other words, get used to being rejected. And I don't mean that negatively. That's a positive thing. You have to get used to being rejected. As I said when we started out, Hudson, you wouldn't say this, of course, because you're humble, and it wouldn't sound very good anyway for you to say, but you're a great baseball player. You won the state tournament your senior year. You were all conference for 3 years in a row. You're just a great little baseball player growing up. What is like you hit 500 this last summer, which is unheard of at any level. But what's a good batting average for like a Major League Baseball player?
Probably around 300, one every 3 at bats. So 3 out of every 10 at bats is a Hall of Famer in the MLB. And obviously I'm not playing in the MLB, so there is a caveat there when I'm hitting 500, but it's not easy to do that. So.
And at your level, hitting 300 with your skill set and who you're playing with, that's still a good batting average.
That's usually in the top 2 or 3.
So you have to get used to being rejected, if you will. I mean, you're only successful 1 out of 3 times, right?
Yeah, most people are. That's usually the.
And as you've been starting out, you've found a little bit of I got to get back up after I've knocked down mindset. We were just talking about that this morning.
Yeah, especially with the last couple, probably, 2 weeks ago, I think I got an order on Fiverr, and it was one of those things that was a little bit too good to be true. And I've been trying to learn how to look out for those things because I know that there can be some shysters and stuff like that on Fiverr, people that are trying to kind of use you. And their time zone didn't fit up with where they were at. And I kind of put that in my mind and I thought, but they were willing to, do a bunch of orders for me and stuff like that. So I thought, well, I'll go for it. Well, come to find out, I had sent them 3 different read styles and they came back with, "You sound like a robot." And I thought, wow, okay,
heard that before.
That's kind of tough. I sound like I've never gotten that before, which, I've done plenty of jobs. Anyway, that was I wasn't like so disappointed with that. I thought, well, I can figure this out. So then I gave them, 3 more read styles and they came back and said that I sounded like a robot still. And I thought, wow, this is probably one of the toughest ones I've had. And so then I said, well, sometimes the voiceover doesn't fit with the script, just trying to be, nice and saying that maybe it was my fault. So I sent them 3 more different reads that were even more trying to be less of a robot. So, and at that point they canceled the order, and that was my first canceled order. And of course, if anybody else knows about Fiverr, they are very customer centric and they basically put you in a doghouse. And for the last 2 weeks, I haven't had a single inquiry on Fiverr after for me, I had 1,400 impressions and was getting a fair amount of clicks. Now that might not be a lot compared to someone like you, but for me, that's the most I've ever had.
Yeah.
And I was getting work consistently on there and getting good reviews. And then one bad one, whether it was my fault or not, which whatever, I'm willing to say that I'm not God's gift to the voiceover realm. So, maybe I wasn't sounding as good as I could, but either way, that cancellation knocked me down from where I was at 100% completion rate down to all the way down to 90. And I was in a little bit fear of going back down to a level 1 after being a level 2. So fortunately that hasn't happened yet. But I haven't had a single peep out of Fiverr. And that's been somewhat tough for me because I've been able to count on that. And I guess that's just another caveat to diversifying your streams of income.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Not just being on Fiverr or, chained to Fiverr, whether, ups, you're great with it, downs, you're bad with, it's like, I can't get anything. Really working on having direct email marketing, whether you do it yourself, finding people, emailing them, or having somebody else do it like what VO Marketing Pro does. And then getting on different rosters that are maybe free that you can catch a job here and there, stuff like that. So that's been somewhat of an eye-opening experience for me. It's been kind of one of my first real trials as it comes to voiceover. So
yeah, but you're having to learn that when you get knocked down, instead of just saying I'm done with Fiverr, which is a temptation. There's no doubt about it.
I felt like doing. I was like, I just want to be done with these guys because it's like I did everything I could, and yet I'm still being punished for it.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So I had
but you have to keep
that.
your wits about you, and that's why you can't. We've talked about that before. You can't ride that emotional roller coaster where you end up saying, "Well, I'm done with Fiverr." Then, well, all that work that you've done over the last year is then down the drain, and you kind of want to punish them back for punishing you, and that doesn't usually work with other. You just can't have that kind of an attitude, and that's one of the reasons we want to start a podcast. That's just a little bit of an advertisement that's why we want to, is because you're telling that story and it's a different side as far as, I did the same thing back in the day. That isn't so familiar for me. That kind of territory isn't as familiar, but it is for you and it is for a lot of folks out there too.
Yeah. Yeah. And just giving them, once again, a realistic view, an honest view of what's going on. Yeah. Because I am up and coming and it's what happens. So being honest with it, and my last couple of weeks have been very, very slow. And so it's been a mindset tester for me, and just continuing to send out emails and be faithful with that. So I'm hoping the light's at the end of the tunnel here shortly. Yeah.
So having a get knocked down, get back up mindset is very important. You have to get used to being rejected, whether it's a situation like that with a client on Fiverr in general, lots of auditions and only getting a job here or there, marketing efforts, lots of direct email emails out there and only a few warm replies. You have to get used to getting rejected. You got to get some Rhino-skin when you're in this business. Thanks a lot for joining me for Todd's Tips. And if you'd like more information about VO Marketing Pro or anything else related to VO, the links are listed here.